We're here in beautiful Lincolnshire at the picturesque Cadwell Park. It's round 4 of the Thundersport GB Championship 2016.
Welcome to Cadwell Park for round 4 of the Thundersport GB Championships for 2016. Coming up in this show, well, you can see here the Golden Era Superbikes. It's Cadwell Park and the Dymag Wheels Golden Era Superbikes on the grid. The reigning champion, John Dieterman, comes into this round with a 25-point lead. There's Richie Harrison, number 48, one of 3 Richards to look out for on the grid. James Lodge. James, great to have him out. He's out for a play on a Kawasaki, brother to Jonathan. Of course, former British 125 GP champion as well, so he'll be a handful. Number 37, Vince Carlton, of course, you see there, the champion, number 1 on pole position. Number 17, James Lodge from CMR Motorsport Kawasaki in second. Richard Blunt, former champion, Portico Sport Kawasaki, the green, white and red, number 13. He needs to try and get himself a lift in this championship. It's not quite gone to plan so far in 2016, considering he was the runner-up last year. We're just on board with Richie Thornton. Richie Harrison has just gone past him. We're on the back straight, and that there looks like the Ducati of Vince Carlton. It is, that goes underneath him on that Ducati 996. Beautiful bike still, even now. The Golden Era Superbikes roar through. There's number 90, Lee Eubank from Oldham on the Whir1 Racing Yamaha. Ryan Strafford, 2 riders running a bit wide there. Andrew Pollard just almost going on the grass. That is not a place to be flirting with the green stuff. This is the battle at the front. Look at them, 3 abreast. Dieterman leads, James Lodge there, and Richard Blunt almost getting tangled up. Over the top of the mountain we go. Dieterman it is that leads, and oh, look at that! The front end of Lodge's bike goes into the back of Dieterman's, and is Dieterman now out there? The exhaust has been pumped up as well. They're completely rammed into each other, and that's it. The championship leader, John Dieterman, is going to be down and out of this race. What a bizarre collision that was between Dieterman and James Lodge at the top of the mountain, and that now leaves Lodge and Blunt together. I wonder whether that will affect James Lodge in any way. We'll find out, but there they are, side by side. Blunty has got himself through. Now that will raise the eyebrows of Mr. Blunt. Having seen Dieterman go out, he'll know that there has never been a better chance to try and close up on the championship, and look, he's already getting down to business. Number 13, he leads from James Lodge. Gap then back to 3rd, Richie Harrison having a good ride there on the Melter Slide Suzuki. Then it's Ryan Strafford and a train of bikes coming around. There is number 38, Andrew Pollard, who almost went on the grass a lap earlier. What's happened to Andy Chalice? He's just gone missing as well. Andy Chalice, who had a great round at Stetson on the CT Racing Suzuki. He was in 4th as those guys went into the mountain. Look at that! James Lodge around the outside. These 2 are properly swapping paintwork here. James Lodge and Richard Blunt. I don't know if they've been formally introduced, but they have on circuit. Richard, meet James. And they are knocking lumps out of each other, both desperate for a win. Have to say, both of those bikes look absolutely stunning out on circuit. James Lodge really having fun on that Kawasaki, fighting it out then with Richard Blunt, former champion of his class, of course. Richard Blunt, runner-up last year, lost out to John Dieterman. Across the line they go. They are miles ahead of the opposition at the moment. There they are then. This is the battle for 3rd place now. Ryan Strafford just ahead there of Nick Williamson. Nick Williamson, who entered this round 2nd overall in the standings. Ryan Strafford, realistically, since moving into the Golden Era Superbike class, I don't think it might be saying he's had a bit of a nightmare. It's not really gone to plan, and he just loses the place there to number 6, the RBM Motorsport rider. And he looks like he might lose another one as well, because here comes Richie Thornton around the outside of him into Chris Curve. So good battle that going on for 3rd overall, and a brilliant battle this for 1st. James Lodge. Now this seems to be a part of the circuit where they're, look, and he's done it again around the outside into that chicane. This time he gets it lit up on the exit. That is astonishing. Seeing it once was amazing enough, but he's done it again around the outside. You have to have some serious confidence there. Here's Richie Thornton, who's now going to have a look up the inside of Nick Williamson. There's not quite enough for him. We're on board with him here, number 71. Ryan Strafford just up behind these guys. There's Nick Williamson just ahead. They now tip into Hall Bends. Each of them just trying to find some opportunity. They both know, well, all three of them know that there's a podium on offer here, and Richie Thornton up the inside. Thornton, number 71 here, moves into third place. Trophy on offer to the winner of that fight. Winner's trophy on offer to the winner of this one. The Portico Sport Kawasaki there, struggling at the moment just to keep up with James Lodge out front. Here comes Nick Williamson. He bounces straight back. No, Thornton closes the door. Good race this here in the Dymag Wheels Golden Era Superbike. It's hard to really know which battle to concentrate on. Blunt here, well, they're both lapping. James Lodge is lapping in the 135s, the low 135s. It's not a million miles away from Chris Martin's lap record that was set a couple of years ago. There is Blunty then. Of course, he'll know that James Lodge doesn't feature in the championship, so does he go after him? Or does he settle for the 20 points? Because ordinarily, trying to make 20 points up on John Dieterman could take you a few races. Well, he's got an opportunity right here in front of him. Dieterman's out of the race. And so this is the chance just to finish and take the 20 points. And I think that's exactly what he's doing. James Lodge here looking in great form. As I mentioned before, James Lodge, a rider that comes here with quite a bit of experience at British Championship level. Not on this bike, but a very versatile rider. Some would argue James Lodge has deserved an awful lot more in his career so far, having won two 125 GP British Championships. He never really got given the opportunity that he was deserving, and went into 600s, and it's not quite panned out perhaps the way he would like. Of course, his brother Jonathan, races in the GP1 Championship. In fact, Jonathan had to go on a Kawasaki of Jamie Hitters over at Anglesey. Was it last season or the season before? And did very well on that. And so they've both had a go at this championship now, as Ryan Strafford really fighting on that Honda. Continental-backed rider wants to get himself back on that podium. Forgot to mention that there were freshman GP1 riders in this class as well, of course. We have such large grids at Thundersport, they still get their race. Oh no, James Lodge has got a problem, and he's absolutely got it. Number 17. There's nothing there, and he's going to pull out of this race. Through goes Richard Blunt, and James Lodge is out. Oh, what a shame there for Lodgy. He's out of this race, unfortunately. No prizes for him. Well, what an opportunity this is for Richard Blunt. John Dieterman out of the race, Jonathan Lodge out of the race, and what that does is it means both of these guys can now squeeze onto the podium. Will they know? That's the question. Will they have seen James Lodge going up the hill over at the mountain? Who knows? But they're on for second and third at the moment. Last lap flag is out. Blunt's lead is now over 20 seconds. 35.5 he did on that last lap. At the moment, Strafford is on for his best result of the season so far. In second, Richie Thornton third. Richie Harrison, who was in third earlier, has dropped to fourth. Nick Williamson's out of the equation as well. He's dropped down to fifth. In the freshmen, we saw them earlier, Andrew Pollard, number 38, ahead of Luke Blackburn. It's very, very close between them. Final lap then, just under half a lap to go. Portico Sport rider Richard Blunt, who coming into this weekend was 64 points behind John Dieterman, has just taken 25 back, with Dieterman coming out pointless. And so there's another race to come for these guys later in the show. But a brilliant ride this from Blunt. He's going to be back on the top step at last. Just cruising round Hall Bends now. It was a good race until we lost both Dieterman and of course Lodge. Stationary yellow flag there for a rider on this final lap. Not sure who that's for, but here's Strafford. He'll be delighted to get himself back on the podium again at long last, and Richie Thornton will follow him home. There is number 38, Andrew Pollard, just up ahead of number 212, Luke Blackburn. The Golden Era Superbike win goes to Richard Blunt here. Brilliant chance for him, and he has taken it. 25 points goes to him. Ryan Strafford holds on to second, Richie Thornton third, Harrison fourth, Nick Williamson fifth, and Andrew Pollard, the freshman winner, he ended up sixth place. Good stuff there for Richard Blunt, the race winner in Golden Era Superbikes. It's Pollard, Blackburn and Heritage, your top three in the other race.
Andrew, this is becoming a habit.
It is a bit, yeah. It's been a difficult weekend up to now, but that was found some pace in it at last.
Well, save it for TV day, why don't you?
Well, yeah, something like that, and this afternoon, hopefully.
Good stuff. And sponsors to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Ian Rhodes from Roads and Track in Northampton, who does all the setup on the bike. Really helped me this weekend and put it together again after Snetterton. And the pit crew, as always, Sam and Zach and Philippa.
Richard, what a strange race that was. Unbelievable.
It was hard work, that's what that was. It was a nice first lap getting around everyone, and I knew there was another bike behind me. I thought it would be a nice dice between me and one and two others, but yeah, it just all of a sudden there was me, John, and then someone out of nowhere passed me going into the bottom of there, the mountain, and it was just, yeah, close racing. There must have been 3 or 4 points of contact, but bloody good fun though.
It looked excellent from where I was standing. And anybody to shout out to?
Yeah, massive thanks to Avon, Portico, Hell, DP, the guys down at Equine Motorcycles, my dad for the helmet, Andy Pooh for the new boots that I've got now. We'll get the leathers eventually. Phil Martin, who's been providing the bikes and everything else. Massive thanks to everyone. The amount of hours that gone into the bikes, really appreciate it.
Top job, Rich.
Thank you.
Well, Dymag wheels originally were die-cast magnesium, hence the name Dymag, and those were for Formula One and Indy cars and motorcycles. And then moving on through into the 80s and 90s and into the 2000s, the company developed carbon fibre motorcycle racing wheels, followed by carbon fibre car wheels. And it was basically the company that has always been at the forefront of innovating in a racing and performance environment. When the company started out in the 70s and through the 80s into the 90s, we had many world champions on our wheels. We had Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell, Alan Prost. We had Superbike champions, people like Barry Sheen and Eddie Lawson, all used our wheels and used to personally deal with the company to buy them. And of course, teams like McLaren, Williams, all used Dymag wheels through that period. Dymag has a history of great innovation, and finally the market seems to have caught up with Dymag. We invented carbon fibre motorcycle wheels and composite car wheels more than 10 years ago, but it's only today that the OEMs and the market is realising the benefits of these. So now we're perfectly positioned to be part of the future of this great big marketplace, which is going to be the global lightweight composite wheels for aftermarket racing, but most importantly, original equipment manufacturers.
Welcome back to Thundersport Plus. It's the Dymag Wheels Golden Era Superbikes now, race 2. Fascinating encounter earlier on. Richard Blunt the winner by some 24 seconds, but John Dieterman here obviously got pumped out of the race. His exhaust was destroyed by this man, James Lodge, who whilst leading unfortunately had to go out. Radiator issues for Lodge. I wonder whether that was because he obviously rammed into the back of Dieterman or not. Richie Harrison here was third for a while, but fell back. And in the end, Ryan Strafford, the Continental back Honda there, finished second with Richie Thornton, the yellow Kawasaki number 71, finished in third place. What a race 2! Away from the line we go. John Dieterman with some catching up to do after what happened earlier on. Richard Blunt will look to try and do the double. Will we see a proper encounter now between the top 3 riders? Lodge, obviously here, a one-off ride this weekend. Dieterman with the number 1 plate on, the Baxi Yamaha rider, champion in 2015. And Park Corner we go. 47 was Nathan Hutchinson ahead of Lee Eubank. Dieterman leads from Blunt, Lodge, Harrison, Strafford. A few riders kicking up a bit of dust there. Number 99 is Graham Ward. He's just up ahead of Richie Thornton. We've got the freshman, number 212 up there in the mix is Luke Blackburn. There he is with the orange bib on, just ahead of Vince Carlton on circuit. So that is not a Golden Era Superbike. He's one of the GP1 freshman riders. He's out there joined by Rob Heritage, Andrew Pollard, Ben Hollingworth and Lee Eubank. Through Hall Bends then, there's Nick Williamson, former runner-up in this championship. Number 49, nice to see L'Oreal Kev Howdle out there, the Alpha Hare Academy Suzuki rider, having a bit of fun here at Cadwell Park. There's Strafford, then Carlton, number 99 again, Graham Ward, then Nick Williamson. But out front, it is the champion John Dieterman that has control ahead of his old rival, Richard Blunt. They get along okay off circuit, despite the battles they've had on it. There's no bad or ill feeling between them. But, they have got a spanner that has been thrown into the works in the shape of James Lodge, because Lodge is quick, and you can see him closing in on Richard Blunt there in the background. Backseat Yamaha rider here, John Dieterman. Well, he'll just be looking to try and finish this race. A sturdy competitor, a great champion last year. Here comes James Lodge. James Lodge, speed he has coming through that new chicane and then in towards the bottom of the mountain is unbelievable. I wonder whether he'll try one of his specials around the outside of Richard Blunt into that chicane next time around, or will he pick him off sooner? The three of them have blasted away here from the rest of the pack. You can see there, just on the side of James Lodge's bike, 6T9. That's, I believe, a product of James Whittam's. It's called 69. I can't remember exactly what it is, but oh, Whittam gets himself everywhere, doesn't he? He's got himself on the side of a Golden Era Superbike as well. There we see one or two of the freshmen going through. Number 28 is Jordan Watling from Doncaster on the Electech Racing Kawasaki. Race winner, of course, in this class back at Donington. It was a bit soggy then. Dieterman doing well here, just managing that gap out front ahead of Blunt, who's now got some real pressure coming from James Lodge. There was Andrew Pollard, Howdle, Watling, and then we saw Rob Heritage in there as well. James Lodge is through then into second place. Richard Blunt then, he'd do well here just to stay on the tail of James Lodge if at all possible, going through the next few corners. Look at the time he's already lost through the chicane, because James Lodge looks like he's going only one direction, and that is towards John Dieterman out front. Will John Dieterman put up a fight against a rider that does not feature in his championship? You're about to find out. On that last lap, James Lodge, a 34.9. It's the fastest lap of the race, but again, not close enough to that lap record set by Chris Martin a couple of years back. There's Richie Thornton. Well, he was on the podium in race 1. It doesn't look like he's going to manage the same feat in race 2. Blunt is now being dropped in the background. He's not able to stick with these guys. John Dieterman lapping in the mid 135s. It's the late 134s that James Lodge is in, and Blunt is a good second slower on that last lap. So Blunt may be just going for the points here, and he'll desperately hope that number 17 there, James Lodge, can get past Dieterman, just to sort of limit the damage really in the championship that Dieterman can do to him. There is Ryan Strafford just up ahead of Richie Harrison, 212, Luke Blackburn from Louth. So very short journey home for him at the end of today. Kev Howdle going through once more. Number 95 there, Adam Horton from Winsford on the Kipper Licker Suzuki. What a team name that is. Can't you just tell that he's an ex-Thundersport 500 rider? They come up with some rather interesting names for teams over the course of the season. There is Ryan Strafford again then, trying desperately to get on terms with this Honda. It's not a race-winning motorcycle, unfortunately. Ryan Strafford, of course, a race winner himself, a champion in Street Fighters, but struggling with this Honda since moving into the Golden Era Superbike Championship. There is 71, Thornton again, just up behind that Ducati of Vince Carlton's. Across the line there for Strafford. There's Vince Carlton as well, Nick Williamson, and then Thornton. Interesting to see Thornton struggling in this race when he was on that podium earlier on. Back to the front though, it's Lodge that leads from Dieterman. And Lodge has now even managed to break John Dieterman, so maybe Dieterman is just saying, you know what, I need the points here, I cannot afford another DNF, not with Richard Blunt just tucked in behind me. Here he is then, backing that Kawasaki, and that is such an eyeful, beautiful bike there. Colours all just really do work. It just looks like we are going back into the golden era looking at that. The old, it's the old muzzy Kawasaki colours really, but brilliantly ridden here by James Lodge. He'll be praying that the bike this time makes it to the line and doesn't let him down. He deserves the race win and the trophy that goes with it. John Dieterman, and for now he'll just hold on to this, take the 20 points and wait until Alton Park. Double points on offer over the 2 races there. This time last year, of course, there was a big championship changer between Blunt and Dieterman at Alton Park. Blunt went out of the race and lost out on a big haul of points. Start the last lap. I wonder if this is a one-off visit for James Lodge or whether he'll reappear at some point further down the road in the championship with his brother contesting every round in the GP1 class. Of course, the brothers have raced at British Championship. They've raced in endurance as well together. Further back there you see Richie Harrison and Graham Ward having a good go at each other on this final lap. That's the battle for 5th place. Strafford won't be on the podium this time around, but he will be in 4th. Blunt still in 3rd. Dieterman, the champion, on the backs of Yamaha 2nd, but it's the CMR Motorsport Kawasaki rider James Lodge, former British 125 champion, who looks well set here on taking the victory. This is where he pulled out last time, but not so. He's going to make it round, no problems at all. Brilliant riding from him. Bike looks to be handling very well. Screaming through all bends, nice and easy does it. He knows how far ahead he is. He's had a good look over his shoulder, and the checkered flag awaits. He's eased off just a bit in the closing stages. John Dieterman won't be able to catch him. Checkered flag is out here then in the Dymag Wheels Golden Era Superbikes and the GP1 freshman. James Lodge takes the win, and he looks pretty happy with himself, doesn't he? 2nd place for John Dieterman, the champion. 3rd for Blunt. 4th for Strafford. Richard Harrison is 5th. Graham Ward in 6th. They see on the podium then a very happy James Lodge, with John Dieterman on the left and Blunt on the right. In the freshman, Luke Blackburn, the winner from Andrew Pollard and Rob Heritage. Let's take a look at the championship standings then in the Golden Era Superbikes. John Dieterman has extended his lead despite what happened earlier in race 1 over Nick Williamson. Blunt has moved up to 3rd with Richie Thornton 4th, Strafford 5th and Harrison 6th, and then Ben Hollingworth leading in the GP1 freshman. 31-point lead over Andrew Pollard.
Luke, I mean, this is a new class this year, the freshmen, and you know, you've come here with brilliant support and you've got there, haven't you? You must be well pleased.
We have, yeah. I mean, that's our first time ever racing. This is our first race on the 1000, which at the minute we're rolling an old ZX10, but thanks to Brett at South Dean Equestrian, he's managed to get us a new ZX10, and Ash at Pratt Brick UK for all the work that he's put in, because I wouldn't race without him, and I've got to thank my girlfriend, I suppose, for giving me all the support all the way through it. So yeah, it's been a good weekend.
James, you have had probably one of the toughest weekends I've ever seen, but to end the weekend like this is amazing.
Yeah, well, I've really enjoyed it anyway. I mean, that's the main thing. we had a bit of bad luck over the weekend. First race, I'd just got into a lead and it got red flag, so it went back a lap, finished second. Second race, again battling for the lead and broke down. Third race, unfortunately, I had to come in together with John over at Mountain when his bike cut out, and took the radiator out on our bike, so it packed in after lap 8 when we were leading it. So just relief more than anything to finally finish a race.
Well, you had incredible pace, and you showed that when everything came together and the bike held together, fortunately, so well done.
Yeah,
Who have you got to thank?
Craig Robertson obviously lent me a bike this weekend. It was him who actually got me out of retirement and said, go on, have a go on it and get out there. So, all thanks to him. And I've really enjoyed this weekend. It's been great. Good lads everywhere, and it's really friendly club. So, hopefully we're doing some more.
Excellent. I'm pleased to hear that, because you shouldn't be in retirement. You're far too young. Well done.
Well, yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing James out again very, very soon. That's it from us here at Cadwell Park, round 4. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time at Oulton Park.